So let's see how good I can explain this. If you can imagine, there's probably an infinite amount of ways to navigate this picture. So I'm going to start here. Life originated in Africa. There's not much dispute there, and there's evidence that civilization is even older than we expected it to be, right? The ancient Africans, or Kemet as it was called, was all about knowing thyself. They developed an advanced spirituality. That's how they were able to have high civilization and create things with mathematical precision and alignment that is still baffling to this day. Pyramids are an example of that. Okay, they're in Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, even though they try to make Egyptology something different. So I'm going to walk you through this. So this story starts here in America in 1619. I talk about this in paperwork as well. I've encoded this in music also. So we're in 2019. So 400 years have passed. When we came here, they purposely didn't want us to remember anything about our history, our ancestry, our divinity within. They basically treated us like chattel. Now, when I say chattel, when I say us, I'm talking about the human race, black people. And I know, black is a controversial thing or whatever, but I can show you National Geographic stuff where they're looking at Adam and he's a dark-skinned man. So let's just say people of color, right? Anyway, we came here and they made it illegal for us to learn and read and all of that stuff. I used to wonder, why is that? If they treated us like chattel when we came over here, there's not laws made to prevent a cow or a dog from being able to learn. And they treated us like that, so it makes you wonder, what did they not want us to remember? So now we're remembering, and somebody that is from that era, from that bloodline, and we all are, is coming back here and showing you a way out of this spell bind that they put us in. So what did they do? They taught us this spell. They gave us this book and said it was holy and told us that we needed to worship this God and all of this stuff. Now, the thing about this book, it didn't come from nowhere, right? They gave us religion. When you look at religion, if you look at the roots of the word, it goes into bond and to bind, right? When we came here in slavery, and there were some of us that were already here, and I'm not going into all of that because the story is got a lot of rabbit holes in it. But anyway, I'm trying to keep this simple. So they gave us this book, and then they told us, hey, you're going to get what you deserve if you just be good, obey your masters. It says here in this book, blah, blah, blah. You get your reward in the afterlife. But we were already experiencing immortality while we were alive. The whole spiritual thing is to face your death, accept death, overcome death while you're alive. The second birth is a spiritual birth. That's the same thing Jesus talked about. And Jesus was nobody special, and I'm Jesus, and I'm telling you that. So we'll get back to that. But anyway, let's go back to this spellbound thing. Now, when you look at it, it's really a program. Now, they didn't have computers back in that day, at least that I know of. So this is a way to program us, right? Now, the thing about a program, there's certain things that are included, certain things not included, and there's a purpose for a program. There's a specific purpose for an app. You're holding a smartphone now, we're looking at your computer, your app does a certain thing. This app was made to bind and to limit us. It wasn't made to free us as a slave. They wanted to keep us dumb, stupid, and just smart enough to pick cotton and work the machinery. And you can see they're doing the same thing here in 2019. So it's expanded. And as far as the Bible, I got into that in detail, so I'm trying to keep this simple. But part of me wants to dive deeper, but I'm not going to do that now. Now, when you look at this book, right, and it's a book that's written by man. They said it was inspired by this, that, and the other, but anybody can say that. And if it's inspired by such and such, then if you look at it as a book of love, then why did they treat us the way they did? It doesn't make sense. When you look at belief, there's a lie inside of belief. You have to accept something is true. Belief is correspondent with faith. You have to have trust. So why do we trust these people that enslaved us and did all of these horrible things to us, that's part of history, to give us the truth, to give us the gospel? Why do we believe that? It's actually a program. And when you look at the history of it, you can see that things were omitted. There were books that were left out. Why were these books left out? What were in these books? This is something that you have to question. Some people believe the Bible was the first book ever written. That's just like saying, hey, your water from your faucet comes from here. No, your water does come from there, from the faucet, but there's a bigger story. It comes from a larger body of water, right? But different faucets have their water, and just like religion, there's over 4,200, and inside of those, there's different denominations in there. So this is the whole divide and conquer rule. Why does that work? Because you have a small group trying to control a large majority. They can't do that unless they have us fighting and policing ourselves. Just in simple terms, if you take one stick, it's easier to break. You take a group of sticks, it's harder to break. And we're putting the sticks together now. And this is what Jesus would say. Jesus is nobody special. Even he said that in the gospel. And I went in depth into the gospel and showed you all of the things and then the consistency, inconsistency, and contradictions and all of that stuff. So now we live in an age of information where ignorance is a choice, but it's not a smart choice. And the path that we're on, it's not a choice that's going to be one that's going to benefit humanity. I mean, just look at what we're doing now to the planet. This is the only place that we have. There's no other planet that we're going to go to. So why are we allowing these people to run the planet down the way it is? You know, part of it is the idea of separation. That's part of the illusion. The great spiritual teachers would tell you that separation is an illusion, right? We're really all one. So the whole idea of separation is that we're separate from nature. That's one example. So we try to conquer nature, compete with nature. When you look at nature itself, it's one. You know, we're really the only thing on this planet that is out of sync with nature. And look what we're doing to the planet. It's like a cancer. We're going to kill ourselves and eventually the host. We're so concerned with growth, right? So you got the idea of the ego and separation. I'm calling that the 6. And you got the idea of oneness and I am. I'm calling that the 9. Okay? Now, look at your brain. They say the left brain and the right brain. Now, I know they say there's a myth whether it be in the left brain or right brain, but look at spirituality as this. The left brain being the circuitry and the right brain being the Wi-Fi, the connectivity. So you can be left brain and just deal with logic and just be able to work the machinery and have no higher sense of any awareness, of any connection to anything. And these are the scientists that are just creating things that destroy themselves and the environment and all of this. They have no connection to anything greater than themselves or even the universe which they're part of. Now, part of this spellbind is to trick us, is to get us to worship something that is outside of ourselves instead of looking at the divinity within ourselves. And they gave us this concept of Jesus. For us, they gave us a concept that looked like our oppressors, you know, when they said the one and only Son of God and all of this stuff. And we didn't know any better because this is what we were taught, and they even co-opted some of us to teach us that as well. And that's another story. But anyway, the one and only Son of God or the Son of God, you know, you can look at it as astrotheology as well. Now, I'm saying I'm Jesus, right? So you have a choice whether you believe me or not. So what would Jesus do? Okay. So back in the day, they say Jesus, you know, taught for 3 years and Jesus went and learned something. So he didn't wake up knowing everything that he knew. He was taught, right? Same way we all learn. So Jesus, again, is nobody special. Now, what am I doing? I am following the path and continuing the work. So when I was here first, did a 3-year thing. Now it's a 6-year thing. And to compress time, this is done online, right? So 6 years is compressed inside of this matrix, inside of this reality, using the same servers that they're trying to use against us to store this information. Now, the questions are answered there for the most part, and I'm still continuing things, and the reality show is just showing that on a larger level. So aside from the 6 years of public demonstration, there's also SIA, which is Spirituality in Action, and the 100-Degree Challenge. The 100-Degree Challenge is the logical basis to get the left brain to realize, hey, there's a Wi-Fi connection that allows you to open up to other things. Most people get caught at 82 to 86 degrees in the 100-Degree Challenge, dealing with faith and belief and all of that stuff. So you got to get past that to have an experience. Now, this is my card, and I'm claiming to be an angel. I'm saying God only makes angels. We're all 9s. They believe us or they trick us to be 6s, and that's part of that spellbound that I'm talking about. And that's the truth. That's the good news. That's the gospel. The reason they don't want us to know that is because we begin to put the pieces back together and we become as one again. And we don't fight against each other, and then that's no way that the 1% can control the 99% if we all realize our own value. So that's the whole game. That's why they use all of this against us. Now, they're going to say, well, you're nobody special. I know. I'm saying I'm nobody special. Well, how do you know you're Jesus? Well, I don't know. Well, actually, I have a pretty good idea. These are some of the things that are coincidental or just by chance, however you want to look at it. So beside an earning of wanting to find the truth and share the truth, have a mom named Mary, have birthmarks where Jesus was supposedly hit with the spear, came out of the clouds in my awakening. 27 is a coincidence I see all the time, which happens to be the same number of books in the New Testament. When you look at my actions, all of that should speak for itself, and you have to be awake. And Jesus just wanted to awaken the world and show them the divinity that they have within. So what I'm saying is, some people argue that it's either a 6 or a 9. I'm saying you're 9s. You are the divinity expressing itself in this experience. If you believe otherwise, then you have the idea of separation. Now, this also involves time travel, and I'm going to get into that later, into more detail in some later videos. But if you look at this, we're coming to a juncture now where the timelines are splitting. And this is where we are now. So this is when Jesus was here, and this is the second time, which is why I'm here now. It's going to be a third time. Now, this is a reality that we're trying to avert now with artificial intelligence. If you look at what's going on now, they're trying to keep everything into the left brain. They're trying to keep you plugged into electronics, and they're trying to get this AI on so it does all of the thinking for you. That way, this spiritual awakening that's going on can be stifled, and this small group can continue to gain control. So this is why spirituality is important now, because we have to connect our own Wi-Fi, connect our own internet of each other, and to become a superorganism to really change the trajectory that we're on. And I believe that we've done that, and we're going to do that, but it's still work to be done. And that's where we are now. Now, if you look at the people that have the money and the resources, and this is on their servers, they're moving towards AI in different ways. And just look at their trajectory. You got AI that's going to that's already working in the background socially, and look at how we're using technology now. You have a phone all the time. Even kids younger are having phones. You're going to have wearables, and then you're going to have implants, and then when AI comes online, it's going to control more and more of our reality. And just look at what we imagine is going to happen, and look at what some of the pioneers in AI are talking about, the potential of it. Elon Musk, and I'm on the fence with him because he's saying AI is more dangerous than nuclear weapons, but yet he created this technology that allows you to interface with AI. I guess he feels if you can't beat him, join him. I'm not sure if that's the right approach, but that approach is easier than trying to wake people up, and that's the hard work. That's why no one wants to be Jesus. And for those churchgoers and Bible thumpers, you can look at all of this. There's plenty of information out there. Again, ignorance is a choice. You can look at all of this information. Look at history. Look at things that are outside of this book that was given to us to control us, right? I mean, it's all there. I'm not telling you nothing that you can't research yourself. So, in summary, this is the scenario that we're in, and it's up to us to change it. And yeah, Jesus is here, and Jesus has nothing to do with the Bible. Jesus didn't write any books in the Bible, right? When Jesus was referring to the Bible, he says, isn't it written in your book that I said you were God? So Jesus was saying that you and God are one, and the things that he did, Jesus, you can do them better. So even if you don't believe I'm Jesus, I'm here to try to take him up on his challenge and do what he did and better. And we're getting ahead of this AI because this is something that has the potential to really hijack our reality, just like his story was hijacked. You go back to what he was saying, it was hijacked by religion. But now, since I'm here now, and we have more information and we have video and other things, you don't have to talk in parables. You can, get more information out. And this has been done digitally in my own voice, with my own face, just showing you everything right here in this reality. So really, I'm making it as clear as possible. And there's nothing that I'm going to be able to prove to you that I'm Jesus, right? The whole idea is that Jesus is nobody special. We're all the sons and daughters of God. We're all made of stardust. We're all infinite beings having a human experience. That's all he was saying. His whole story was hijacked and put into religion to keep us controlled and separated. That's the whole game. That's what's going on now. That's the program. And this is a matrix. The matrix is even in the Bible. That's why I have matrix engineering here. And I use artistry as well because I encode everything in music also. So what did Jesus write? 2 things. The circle, keep going in a circle, going in a rabbit hole, going around and not getting anywhere, or going within, right? That's what Jesus wrote in the sand. At least that's what I wrote in the sand. And again, this is stuff you can't prove, but that's the only thing that there's any record of Jesus writing. So the reality show is going to be from Jesus in this reality. I mean, what else you want to do? It's the Trueman Show. And I know people are not going to believe it, just like back then they didn't believe it, And Jesus had a tough time then, and, it's not exactly an easy ride now. But I think it's going to be worth it, and It's our future that's at stake. So let me know how I did in explaining this. Peace.